Alright, so we got a 2000 Ford F150 here with the 4.2 V6 in it. It's got a real bad, I guess you would say knocking noise coming from it, but I don't believe it's the engine. It sounds like it might be the alternator. I'll start it up real quick and let you hear it. And I don't know, it might be a little bit annoying on the camera. That's the noise it has. I think it's coming from the alternator. Not 100% sure. It sounds like it's coming from over this side though. And of course, it could be idler, tensioner, harmonic balancer even. I don't think it's coming from the driver's side where the AC and the power steering pump's at. He did say that this power steering would get tight once in a while, and it made more of a high-pitched noise, and now it's to this noise. I got a feeling it's the alternator, and when it first started happening, maybe it was locking up a little bit, and now the bearings are just shot in it. So anyway, I'm going to take the belt off, and we'll kind of feel all the tensioners and the water pump and all that good stuff and see if we feel any play in anything. This alternator doesn't look that old, but on the side of it here it says made in China. And I got a feeling, he said he didn't put it on, it was on there when he got the truck. I got a feeling it's probably a Rock Auto or some kind of online alternator. And it's pretty common, even if you get a quality alternator, sometimes you can't get a good one. You know, it might take one or two times to get a good one. So when you go and buy like a Rock Auto or aftermarket alternator, you're really asking for trouble, in my opinion. So that's, I put a screwdriver against it in my ear, and it definitely sounds like it's coming from the alternator, but you can get tricked on stuff like this. So we'll do what we can to make sure that's what it is before we just change the part on it. It is charging. It's got to be a bearing issue. It's not a internal wiring or anything like that. It's because the alternator does still charge. It just sounds horrible. So anyway, I'm gonna get the belt off, and I'll tell you what I find or what I think I find. And if it's an alternator, we'll go through changing it real quick on this 2000 F-150. All right, I'm gonna try to show you what I found. It's not the alternator, which is probably good news for him. It'll be a little bit cheaper. If you look straight down, you got this idler pulley right here. As soon as I pulled the belt off, see that? The bearings are wasted on it. So I think that's alternator spins fine. And while you're in here, go ahead and spin all your other pulleys. Make sure there's no play. Move them back and forth and spin them. Make sure you don't hear anything. Alternator seems like it's okay. As soon as I pulled the belt off, I heard this thing knocking. And that's what that is. So that's the idler pulley. And the water pump felt fine and everything. So I think that's all it's going to be on this truck. So hopefully somebody around here has it. It's an F-150. And believe it or not, I've had trouble getting parts for F-150s that are older here in St. Louis. So hopefully someone has it. And I'll go ahead and pull it off and show it to you, and then we'll hopefully find it and replace it, get it back, put the belt back on, take a listen to it, and get it back on the road. Alright, so I went ahead and took that pulley off. Just got one bolt holding on, Torx. And you can see here a little ball bearing right there. And this is supposed to go inside there, and then it's surrounded by ball bearings. And this is supposed to be holding it all together. It's all broken. There's a bunch of ball bearings on the shop floor. So that's what it is. Lived a good life. I don't know how many miles are on this truck, but it looks like it's the original one. So anyway, gave it its all, and I guess I owe the Chinese a apology for automatically assuming that their alternator was bad. Sorry, China. I'll try harder next time. So anyway, I'm going to go try to get the pulley, and we'll put it back on, put the belt back on, and make sure it's quiet. Alright, so I went and got the pulley. You can see here the difference between the two. This one's got the bearing still inside of it, and obviously it's the original one. We also got a belt for it. This belt's in pretty bad shape. If your belt looks like this, go ahead and replace it. You can see it's cracked. There's several places, I don't know if it's showing up, but there's several places where the actual grooves are just off and gone. So if you're doing a job like this and your belt is questionable, like this one's basically wasted, but if your belt's questionable, go ahead and get a new belt for it. On these 4.2s, they have a 7 and an 8 point belt, and I counted 7 point contact, and it still was not the right belt. So my advice to you is, if you're going to put a new belt on your F-150 with the 4.2 in it, just take your old belt up there with you so they can, you know, match it up. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. There's not much to show on this. The only thing that holds this in is this bolt right here. It's a Torx bolt. And you just unscrew it, take the belt off, unscrew this, that comes off, put this on the new one, put it in. Get to it from the top. You should be able to get your hand down in there. It's kind of a tight fit, but you can get down in there. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put it on, and I'll put that new belt on, and then we'll see how this thing sounds. I'm sure it'll sound fine. I have no worries about that, but I'll go ahead and put this on, and we'll start up and see how she sounds. Alright, so I got the tensioner on. You just screw that Torx back in, 47, tighten it up, and put the belt back on. Now, this truck didn't have a belt diagram on under the hood. Some of them do, some of them don't. If you don't know, if you didn't take a picture or can't remember how the belt goes, just go to Google and type in, 2000 F-150 4.2 belt diagram, and a whole bunch of pictures will pop up. Diagrams will pop up for you. It's actually quicker than going and getting the manual out or any other thing you can probably do. So that's just a little tip. If you don't remember the diagram or the belt routing, just Google it real quick, hit images, and it'll all show up. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I haven't tried to start it yet. I'm going to go ahead and start it and see if that noise went away. Which we're confident it did. So hopefully you can hear that and tell that it's quiet now. My thing, I automatically assumed it was the alternator. I even put my screwdriver up to it, kind of held my ear, and I condemned that right away. The best thing to do if you have a noise like that, you can't pinpoint it exactly, is take your belt off and just start moving all the pulleys with your hand, rock them back and forth. You shouldn't have any side-to-side movement or any kind of up and down movement with your pulleys, and they should all spin freely. With this one, it was real obvious when I took the belt off. I could hear it knocking right away. Just the belt barely hitting it would make it knock, and then I took it off, and obviously all the bearings are gone. So it's pretty simple on this one. Sometimes you can get caught up. Water pump, a lot of times, if the bearings are bad, you can rock the pulley back and forth, and that's a telltale sign that your water pump is bad. The bearings in your alternator can go out and make a noise like that. Your air compressor, your power steering pump, not so much. That normally will just whine. But just if you suspect there's a problem with the pulley, just grab it and, like I said, rock it. And then the other real common thing on a lot of cars is the harmonic balancer. The rubber piece that connects the pulley to the actual, to the actual main piece. That rubber piece will wear out, and it'll start knocking and make a noise similar to that. So that's another thing to look for. So anyway, this one's a fix. I'm going to go ahead and boot it out and get the next one in. But I just wanted to make a video, maybe not so much instructional video, but just a video to kind of show you what to look for if you're having a noise like that. The best thing to do, if you can't see anything wrong while the engine's running, just take the belt off and start pulling on the pulleys, and chances are you'll figure it out and find the problem. So anyway, appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one. Please subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. I'd appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get this hoopty out of here. We'll see you on the next one, and God bless.